Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Midnight Monster Corner Horror Podcast. I'm your host as always, Corey, and today we've got a top 10 list coming to you from our Facebook group. Basically, a couple days ago I put out a quick poll in which a couple people put some suggestions out. I was able to pop those into a randomizer, and we've got werewolves. So thank you, Jacob Cash, for werewolves. Eventually I'll get to some of the other suggestions that you guys have put out there. But with that, this is going to be the top 10 lists of werewolves. And just a quick disclaimer, I'm not by no means saying that this is the best out there. I'm just saying that these are my personal favorite out of my collection. Now, I do have some suggestion as far, well, I got some personal suggestions saying that I do have some other films that I do like outside of my collection, but ultimately I don't have them, so I don't watch them all the time. But I plan on getting them, obviously. So with that, and I'm just going to kind of jump through these. I'm going to tell you quick why I picked these and then move on to the next. Yeah, so Uncaged, that's number 10. Ultimately, it's okay for what it is. I'm not obviously. There's a reason why it's number 10. But yeah, it's decent. I think there's a couple plot holes, and in which also the story tends to kind of drag a little bit, and maybe sometimes not make a lot of sense. But overall, I love the look of the werewolf. I like his story. So ultimately, that's why I chose this for number 10. So if you haven't seen it, Uncaged, pretty decent little film. Coming in at number 9, honestly was a suggestion from a celebrity. When I met him, when did I meet him? I think I met him like 2013 or something. And, but yeah, he told me about this movie and he was like, you should buy it. And I was like, alright, so Wolf Moon. And that was Sid Haig. And which I love Sid Haig's character in this. It's just classic Sid Haig. And I don't know if you can read what he put on here, but he says, to Corey, let's go kill some shit. Love Sid Haig. He was a fun guy. Coming in at number 8, Howling 2. Pretty much I love the Howling 1 and Howling 2. Howling 2. But number 3 on, I think I maybe watched them once, and I just honestly need to revisit them. I think that I wasn't as impressed as I was with obviously the first and the second one. But this one's pretty cool. I love the storyline of this. Honestly, I love this film. It's pretty fun for what it is. But that was number 8. Number 7, Late Phases. If you haven't seen Late Phases, I highly recommend you go ahead and just pull the trigger and buy it. It is a fun werewolf film. Ultimately, it did something that just hasn't ever been done. Obviously, there was this blind guy that pretty much has to fight off werewolves. That's pretty badass, and he is a badass in this film. This is a fun film. Love the character. Everything about this is really good. So if you haven't seen it, highly recommend this. And also, if you want to see a ultimate review on any of these, leave a comment down below and I'll do them. Next up, this is number 6, I believe, right? Yeah, 6. So I had a tough time, honestly, with number 6 on, as far as like where I was going to put them. And ultimately, this isn't one that I revisit all the time. So that's why it's ultimately sitting at number 6. This is a pretty fun film. It is different, very actiony, but I like it. It's really good for what it is. So that's the reason why it's number 6, just because it's decent, but I don't revisit it as often as I should. Next up, so this is number 5, and again, pretty much number 2 through number 5 was really hard to figure out where I was going to put things in my list. So number 5 is Silver Bullet. I mean, it's classic Stephen King. You can't go wrong there. Well, and then on top of it, you got Corey Haim. That's pretty cool. And then you also got Gary Busey. Love Gary Busey. So Yeah, ultimately, this is a fun film. This is a great film. Love this movie. Um, and now you see why it was hard, because it's number 5. Number 4, honestly, it's kind of the epitome of why I like watching horror films. I like to sit down and have a good time with my horror films. Depending on the mood, I can sit down and be very serious about watching films, but ultimately, I love to just kick back and laugh and have a good time with a horror movie. So this is why this one's number 4 in my book, and that's Wolf Cop. Everything about this is just fun. It's a hilarious movie. There's not a dull moment. Everything's just hilarious about this, including the transformation. The original transformation, like, well, not original, but when you first see him transform into the wolf. Oh my god, it's so great. Yeah, if you haven't seen this, check it out. It's a fun one. And honestly, I'm kicking myself in the ass because I don't have the sequel to it. The only way I like to try and find movies in the wild. You know, I enjoy the hunt. You know, I mean, yeah, it's great getting them off of Amazon and stuff, but ultimately, I like looking through shops and stuff like that. So I haven't been able to find a sequel other than I found it in a double pack one time, Blu-ray, and I was like, I can't have it on a double pack. I'm kind of funny about that. I don't like double packs too much, or compilation discs. I don't like them too much. So this one was really hard between number 2 and number 3. But ultimately, I did it because I don't revisit this as much as I do number 2. So with that, 1941, Lon Chaney Jr., The Wolfman. I mean, it's classic. It's got to be in my top 10 because I have a great respect for the black and white films, especially the Universal monsters. So you'll probably see me talking a lot more about them in the next couple top 10 videos. But ultimately, this one's one of my favorites. I really love it. And honestly, I need to visit it more often than I should. I mean, for what it's worth, 1941, they really captured the atmosphere in this, and like the dry ice and the fog and stuff. I love it. It's good stuff. Like I said, I just got to revisit it more often. So this next one, obviously, I do visit this a little bit more often, and that is American Werewolf in London. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, I've never seen American Werewolf in Paris, but this one ultimately is kind of a special one to me. Everything about it, what can I say about it? If you haven't seen it, you need to go watch it. It's good. The gore's great, the storyline's great, the plot, just everything about it. You know, and again, you don't miss a beat. It's definitely not a slow burn at all. It's a fun one to watch, and yeah, it's just good for what it is. Now, ultimately, why this one's number 1 is let me move these. Why this one's number 1 is honestly, I got introduced to this film at kind of a young age, so it kind of obviously nostalgic for me. It holds a special place for me. And that's Howling. I love this movie. Everything about this movie. Everything you want in a werewolf film, in my opinion, is right here. This is a great film. The story, everything about it. And then, of course, you know, one of the things that I ultimately love about this film, and in which I love about some of the other ones, but this one in general, and the transformation scene, when you first see him transform into that werewolf, I mean, they didn't have the technology to do what they did in this movie, and they made it work. But ultimately, that's what I love about this film. And like I said, again, the story, just everything, it's such a great film. And honestly, I was kind of upset because I was there about to meet Dee Wallace, and I had a copy, but I only had it on DVD. I think it was the MGM or something like that. I believe it was the MGM release DVD. But a couple days prior to going to that convention, I had actually seen this cover art, and I was like, ah, man, I got to get her to sign that. And luckily, I was actually just walking by a table, and I seen this sitting there, so I was like, I nabbed it up. But yeah, I'm glad I got to meet Dee Wallace, too. She's such a sweetheart in person. But yeah, if you haven't seen this, highly recommend this. And then, yeah, get the Blu-ray. Blu-ray's awesome. Gorgeous stuff. So with that, that's my top 10 list. And yeah, leave a comment down below. Let me know what's your top 10 list. And I'm going to also leave a link to the Facebook group in the description down below. And if you guys want to, head over there and leave a comment. Or yeah, let's get a talk going or discussion going about this stuff. What's your top 10 favorite werewolf films? I'm dying to know. With that, I'll talk to you guys later. Like I said, go check us out on the Facebook group. Like, share, subscribe here, guys. Leave a comment down below. And honestly, if you guys want suggestions on top 10 lists, let me know. I'm going to try and pop them in every week. So let me know. And I will be glad to do one. And also, yeah, that's sorry. That's going to be it. But yeah, later.